What up, family? We back at it again. It is your boy E, and I'm with my brother.
It is Mario. Let's get it.
We back at it with another episode of Kanes2Kicks. We excited to have this episode, man. Today is about to be one of our fun episodes, and this is where we're asking for participation. So please blow up the comments on this episode because we truly want to know your favorite. But we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do. Go ahead, Mario. Talk to them about what we're about to do today.
What is good? So we're gonna do top 10 moments of sneaker history for us, right? Our personal top five, Elijah's personal top five, my personal top five. So I'm gonna do the even numbers. Elijah's gonna do the odd numbers. We're gonna go down from 10 to 1. And so we're gonna get it started. And at number 10, my iconic moment is Kobe wearing the Jordan 8 PEs, Laker colorway, super dope shoe. This is when Kobe was in that transition period from Adidas to who ended up going to Nike, but in that middle, he was trying to figure out where he was going. And so this picture is literally showing Kobe wearing the Jordan 8 PEs, Laker colorway, picking up Jordan, who's wearing the Jordan 18 in the Wizard uniform. Super dope picture. A few fun facts. Total number of points Kobe played in those Jordan 8s was 500 points. He wore them 16 times and he averaged 31 points per game in those shoes. Super dope shoe. Let me know what you think, fam.
I think that's one of the most iconic shoes, again, in regards to a free agent wearing. Because at that time, man, Kobe was wearing N1s. Kobe was wearing, different type of shoes just to be able to see where he was going to go. And again, nobody has seen a big free agent at that time be able to do what he was doing. One of the things, another fun fact, um, Adidas didn't allow him to be able to wear things specifically like on a on a consistent basis. So he had to switch it up. So that was one of the reasons why he had to be able to switch it up in order for him to get out of his contract. So as you see, he ended up wearing again some fly, Jordan PEs, man, that we hadn't seen at that time, and we still haven't seen, anybody rock some PE, Laker colors like that. So for me, I definitely would definitely say, man, that is definitely an iconic moment. Uh, Going into number nine, I would definitely say one of the most iconic players in our league, and man has put, I would say, 3-point shooting on his back. I'm gonna go with Steph Curry, man, in the Olympics, wearing the Olympic 12 Under Armour. Man, and the reason why I'm using that moment is, in particular, is because U.S. was down at that time. Steph ended up, again, putting the team on his back with all those Hall of Famers on him. And ended up making that one of the most iconic, I would say, Olympics that were out there. It wasn't a blowout like we've seen, in future in previous years, but we've seen somebody that locked in and showed you he's that guy. And again, for me to be able to see a Steph Curry do that, man, when you had other Hall of Famers that were on the court that the ball could have went to, but somebody else could have took over, for him to take over in particular, and for people to just be standing watching, oh man, it lets you know what type of dog he got in him. So for me, man, my number nine moment is Steph Curry at the Olympics wearing his Olympic 12 Under Armour.
I like that pick, bro, because you went outside the box with that. We treat Steph Curry as if he's one of the best point guards in the league, right? In history too, right? He's top three point guards in history, but we always, put his shoes to the wayside. So for you to give him that type of credit, you know, as his game is really really good, but his shoe is kind of like mediocre. But giving him that type of applause, man, that's super dope. So tip my hat to you for that one. My number nine or number eight. So we got 10 9. So number eight is Shamika Holdsclaw for me. She is one of my favorite female athletes, and she was rocking the Nike Air Flight Posit. Super dope shoe, man. This was like one of her. I don't know if it was a rookie card or whatever, but this image is going to show her rocking the Nike Air Flight Posits, and keep in mind she did have her own shoe, and she was wearing the Nike Shox Meeks, which was a super dope shoe. So that's our pick for number eight.
Um, I'm trying to think of what could I throw with this. I mean, because I think just for you to pick her, and again, I seen her game, not in person, but again through TV, and she was smooth with her game.
Sure
And
thing.
if anybody knows any WNBA, she's up there with those, Cheryl Swoops, Tamika Cashin, like all of those players. She's up there, man. Her game was very smooth. So I think that's a great pick as well. You know what? I'm gonna go with we're gonna take it to football. Um, American football, that is, because we've had previous conversations. We talked about other things. But I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. He rocked the band, Jordan 1 to pregame, and then he ended up coming out with Jordan 11 PEs, the green one, which was fantastic, bro. Again, as you know, the Eagles ended up winning the Super Bowl. From him, he ended up getting MVP. And again, I just love everything that came from his story. Again, getting booted out of Alabama when he didn't deserve that for another quarterback, then to go to Oklahoma to be able to put up Heisman numbers and win the Heisman. Uh, by far one of the best things to be able to see. A quarterback like that, um, just for him to be able to put the league on his back, bro, you gotta love it. I think for me, man, being able to see him rock the band ones, man, just the culture behind the band ones, Jordan not being able to wear his Jordan ones, just based upon the colorway, and then again, it to be implemented in football for him to do that on the grand stage of them all at the Super Bowl, by far one of the most iconic things. What about you, man?
Yeah, no, that was a super dope. And like you said, that was a super dope shoe. But Jalen Hurts' story is just so. I mean, his story is amazing, bro. And I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, me and you off the pod. But seeing his story at Alabama, like you mentioned, and seeing him transfer to Oklahoma, record-breaking numbers, and then get drafted. People wondering would he be inconsistent? Did he have the tangibles? But time after time, he's proven himself, and then ultimately he wins a Super Bowl. And I just love the Nike slogan, right? Love hurts, and I think it just makes so much sense as far as his story. And then, it's like you love to hate him, bro, and it's one of those things, right? You love to hate him, but you gotta love him, bro, and that's why I love hurts. So, super dope story, and I love that pick, bro. I love that pick.
Before you get into the next pick, I want to say again, I missaid that he won the Heisman. He didn't win the Heisman. He actually was runner up that year.
Okay.
But again, he put up numbers that were iconic. Again, for him to come from a different, offensive system to come in, implement, for him to put up the numbers that he did with Oklahoma, man, was great. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So my third pick or next pick, is Kobe wearing the Adidas Crazy Ones. Super dope pick for me. I think Kobe wearing the Adidas Crazy Ones is what put youngsters like me into this like this sneaker mode of wanting to rock the Kobe's, wanting to rock the Adidas socks and stuff like that. I remember playing in those shoes as a youngin and rec leagues and things like that. And so super dope shoe. I remember wearing this shoe in if you're from Vegas, do little leagues and things like that. And I always talk about Adidas having that futuristic look. And what did people used to say? Those Adidas Crazy Ones look like moon boots or something like that. But it was a very futuristic type of model, super dope. When they went to the Adidas Crazy Twos, they got a little out of hand. But Adidas Crazy One, super dope shoe, and that was my pick. So, any thoughts on that?
Again, man, I'm a fan of the models with Adidas. Crazy Eight is definitely one of my favorite, Kobe models that were over there. The Kobe twos, you talking about like the big moon boot, like that was the big moon boot.
Yeah.
But what I will say, like I said in the previous episode, is I loved being able to see his the new they're getting ready to re-release it, but I love seeing it in the kids model. And it looked better than what I seen, in previous years. So again, man, I love that pick again because again, if it wasn't for Adidas, starting, Kobe off, being able to be who he was, for him to be able to become a free agent, come to Nike, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. So I think that's a great pick. For me, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with some other iconic as well. But MJ game-winning shot in the playoffs against Cleveland. Everybody thought I
Mm,
was gonna pick Utah. No, when he had his game-winning shot against Cleveland, man, you can see him jumping up. That is the shot that I'm gonna put in here because I want you guys to be able to see it. He actually had on the AJ four bread in that shot, man. And as you know, at that time, I mean that's a heavy shoe. I mean it's cushion in that shoe. Um, and again, fun fact about Jordan shoes from 2, 3, 4, and 5. The reason why Jordan has so much cushion, if you have any of those shoes, they have a lot of cushion in those. Because when Jordan had ones on, they didn't have any cushion that he wanted.
Mhm.
His feet would end up having those blisters. And so Jordan made sure that his twos, threes, and fours and up had some cushion in them. And the fours were actually one of those more iconic shoes that had that cushion in them. But man, the reason why I picked that specific moment is because this is when Jordan got over one of those thresholds of being able to win in the playoff, being able to beat a competitive team like Cleveland with Mark Price over there, man, and he ended up again coming off the screen, ended up hitting his iconic shot, ended up giving a good little excitement to go with it, man. So
Yeah.
for me to be able to use that, man, I think that is one of the most iconic moments because again, just the AJ Force in general.
Yeah, no, that's super dope, man. And I'm happy you gave the backstory and the history on the AJ4 because we wear them, and a lot of kids wear them too. They wear them very loosely, not knowing like where this derived from, what's the history behind it. And so even seeing the reimagined fours, right? Although we got leather on them, but just hearing that history, for the young, up and coming, athletes, sneakerheads, sports heads, and things like that. Now what was so iconic about that bread 4, right? It isn't just because it looks good, but Jordan did something amazing in that shoe. So I like how you did that. So my next pick is it ties into the Jordan 8. So this ended up coming out as a pack, which is crazy amounts of money, 25, $30,000, whatever, right? Everybody puts their own price tag on it, but it is the Air Jordan 3 PE for Kobe, Laker colorway, another dope shoe, super iconic shoe, worth tons of money, man. And so some little backstory on this. So total points in this shoe was 289. Kobe wore it 8 times, and he averaged 36 points in this shoe. Kobe was a killer in those Jordan PEs, bro.
Short.
Straight killer, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he probably had like the Jordan like in him, like oozing out of him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm finna mix this Kobe and Jordan and go stupid on them." But super dope shoe, man. I love that PE. Don't know if I will ever own it. I refuse to pay 25, $30,000 for any type of shoe, let alone $1,000. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you see the shoe, just know that it's a super dope shoe, man. This is when Kobe was in that transition period, like we said earlier, from Adidas to Nike, and he was just having fun rocking different shoes. And so, enjoy this image. And what you got next for us?
Before you go and we get away from that shoe, I'm gonna add something.
Okay.
Um, First time that Kobe actually dunked on Yao Ming was in the AJ3. He went
Really?
baseline, ended up having them. I
Ugh,
will never forget. That
got
was
him.
on TNT. That was on
Yeah.
TNT night game, and he ended up. I will never forget starting, grabbing the ball, going baseline, seeing Yao Ming rose up, bam, and that was on top. That was ESPN top Sports Center top 10
Yeah.
for a minute based upon that moment, man. So again, that was one of the first times that Yao Ming got dunked on. So that was a iconic moment, man. Again, great pick, great shoes to go with.
What the kids will say right now on his head.
That was it, man. Hey, and that was
They,
a tall head that you had to get on right
yeah,
there, man.
he punched it on Yao Ming. I remember that. Right on.
Uh, so for me, man, to this would be my fourth. I would say one of the most iconic players on the NFL field. This is most people are going to get upset, especially my family. People that are Niner fans are going to get upset. But my goat as a receiver is Randy Moss,
Oh yeah,
and
without a doubt.
Moss did so many things. Again, we don't say he got Rice. No, we say he got Moss.
Right on.
Again, iconic for my generation. I wasn't around when Jerry Rice was drafted and doing the great things that he did. I'm still a huge Jerry Rice fan. He's my 1B. But again, I'm gonna say Randy Moss. But my iconic moment that I'm gonna use is going to be Randy Moss in the 2000 division game against the Saints. He ended up wearing the Jordan PEs 11s, purple and white, and going crazy. Ended up having 2 touchdowns. They ended up blowing out the Saints. But that lets you know the iconicness that he brought to just the field, man. He showed you that he wanted to be the best and he was going to rock the best while he was on the field. And again, man, he showed so much throughout his career, let alone in his Jordans, because they played on AstroTurf back in the day. So people would always wear just regular tennis shoes. And that was one of the tennis shoes that he would always rock. He had different PEs that he rocked. in regards to Jordan, but that was one of my favorite ones that he had, especially during the playoffs.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's a good one. And I love how you made it known that, we don't say he got Jerry Rice or, anything like that. We say he got mossed, right? Like even when we're playing basketball in the streets, right? And you do a fadeaway or something, you're not saying LeBron or you're not saying James Harden, you're saying Kobe, right? You shooting it and you saying Kobe, right? And
Come
so iconic moments right there, that for sure, man. And I think that's dope. Randy Moss is by far my all-time favorite receiver. And so and these are not in order, right? This is just, we just went down chronological order, but not in order as our favorites, but we just, we threw them in there. And so my last one is probably one of my favorite point guards. I had a range of favorite point guards from Stephon Marbury to Steve Francis, but my number one favorite point guard, man, is the crossover king and his AI. And this is his rookie year, rocking the Reebok questions. And he hit Jordan with that bink bink at the free throw line. Bing bing. I mean, he gave him the smoothest crossover that anyone has ever seen. And, it did everything, bro. It put Iverson on the map. It showed that Iverson was real deal and he's willing to stand up to the toughest, the baddest players. And so Reebok questions, not my favorite shoe, but with Iverson wearing them, I had my Reebok questions. I had the ones that zipped up. You remember those ones? I used
on.
to wear that with a little Raider jersey, but for me, number one is the AI, the Reebok classes with Iverson, hitting Jordan with the crossover at the free throw line. Super dope moment.
Hey, so I'll never forget an interview that Iverson did, and Iverson ended up saying like to Jordan, like, man, like you are one of the most, you know, best player, the person I looked up to, my game. And Jordan said, well, if clearly if I was, you wouldn't have tried to, cross me over the way you did, if I was. And just both an iconic moment because Jordan respected Iverson's game for him to
Hmm.
be, you know, as small as he wasn't really, traditionally, yes, he's a point guard, but he was doing guard stuff.
Play shooting
Again,
guard a lot of the time.
you know what I'm saying? But he was just very undersized. So again, that's the reason why he, again, was that point guard. But again, moments like that, there's plenty of moments that, Mario could have went and listed of him just, breaking people's ankles. But
Yeah,
to start that move off as early as he did as a rookie, be able to, give somebody that bing, bang, bang, boom, and be able to finish with it, it's a difference. Because again, we've seen
yeah,
a lot of people get their ankles broken, but what has happened in that situation? You didn't make the shot. So
for sure.
again, the
Yeah.
move don't matter, in that situation. So
And not
again,
necessarily, sorry to cut you off, but not necessarily point guard, but he went back and forth from one to two. And so one of my favorite guards, I should say.
no, I mean again, I think ultimately, I think at that, but during that era, it was that's where he was placed. He was placed at the one. You know what I mean? Because of there was more traditional, the one, two, three, four, all the way up to the
Sure.
fives. You know what I mean? Even when players shouldn't have been that, players were playing that position. So man, I'm gonna end us off, man. I think this is one of the most iconic games, one of the most iconic moments in NBA history. And I'm gonna go with Kobe's 60, his fade to black on the Kobe 11. Um,
Mm.
the most for me, one of I'm not gonna sit here and say this is the number one, but this is one of the most iconic moments to me. Uh, because ultimately this was Kobe, just showing that I still got the moment mentality, even though I am in my last game. Most people in their last game ain't putting up 60.
Hmm.
People try, but their legs is telling them something different. I bet you
Hmm.
any money Tracy McGrady probably tried that and it just didn't work out for him. You know what I mean? Again, you get the opportunity to drop 60. Kobe didn't get the opportunity. He made that moment happen, man. And you could tell just by the first quarter, man, he was struggling. Because again, he was trying to force a lot of different shots that he typically wouldn't. But it ended up, getting into his rhythm, man. Again, when he dropped that 60, you could tell. Especially when they were down, he was trying to, get the win to go with the 60. It was a good thing to see, man. And I wish it could have been in a playoff moment, where we could have, seen him go out the way he came in, again, with him, making the playoffs and, having a playoff run. But, things happened the way they did. It was just good to be able to see. But going into his shoes, man, Kobe 11 is probably one of the most lightest shoes that I've ever put on. Um, I actually ended up getting this is how I know people are not into Kobe. Let me give you a story. I ended up finding a pair of Kobe 11 All Stars that were at Nike Outlet for
Mhm.
30% off for under a hundred and for under $100. But now, those were to release, would I be able to find them? No, because everybody, mama supposedly now is a Kobe fan in regards to shoes. But majority of everybody couldn't find this shoe. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So again, it for me, man, that Kobe 11, let alone the fade to black, was an amazing shoe, man. They literally had, and I wish I had money during that time, but when I was racing home, they had on Nike ID throughout the game where you can be able to customize your
Mm.
Kobe 11 if that's something that you wanted to do, which was rare for them to do, especially with an iconic shoe like the Kobe. But they allowed all the fans to be able to do that, man, and be able to customize their shoe however they wanted. But it was a great sight to see, man, because fans love that opportunity. I hope Nike do something like that more, man, for other iconic shoes. Again, especially, I'm not saying I got a whole bunch of money, but I got an opportunity to be able to utilize my money in moments like that. So, again, brother, man, how you feel about that moment? Sorry for rambling about that, man, but
Nah,
that
you're
is,
good.
man, one of the the moments, man, that definitely touched my heart, man. Seeing Kobe drop his six.
Yeah, no, that was good story time, bro, and I appreciate you giving, the family some of that good old history because what they see now is not what we seen, coming up. Kobe's was accessible. They wasn't like your Jordan type of hype. And I have to give you credit. You do have a lot of Kobe's. Your sneaker collection is crazy, and so just to hear those stories and the history and just kind of your knowledge behind the Kobe silhouette is pretty dope. And so, like, I'm sure cats don't even know that, and some may do, but just Nike ID, being able to Nike ID a Kobe to the color of, exactly what your uniform as a kid, right? What your uniform may be, super dope. And so I miss those moments, as far as putting together that Nike ID colorway to match your uniform. It'd be nice if they bring that back for the youngsters, especially with Kobe being so heavy utilized on the court right now. And so I would love to see that. But super dope top 10, man. I want the viewers just to have fun with it, man, to subscribe, to listen, to comment, and post, right? Post your iconic moments, right? We want to see them. Tag us in them, post them and tag us in them, and and let's have some fun with it. So what do you got before you send us out of here?
Before we send this out here, I want to ask you, and it's just a brief question before we get
Okay.
out of here. How do you feel about Nike? And I think we kind of hit on this not too long ago, but how do you feel about shoes becoming more accessible? Do you think that it would, you know, brings Nike's value down, with their revenue because it's more accessible to people? Or do you think it would be able to bring the value up in regards to, them having more personal Nike ID? You know what I'm saying? Like we're I'm not students, but people can be able to pick, those type of shoes that they want. I'm not saying the Travis Scott or anything like that, but potentially you could be able to, customize a phone posit. You know what I'm saying? Or you can be able to customize, a Kobe, whatever the case may be. How do you think that would help a Nike's, kind of just their marketing aspect? Do you think it would hurt them? Do you think it would be able to bring more customers in? Do you think it would start, building that brand like how it was for us?
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely think it would give them, the same feeling that we had growing up, right? I mean, just for a kid to be able to customize, and even if they don't play sports, right? They just have favorite colors and they want to customize a Kobe silhouette because they like Kobe, they like the shoe, right? Kobe means a lot to them, and so I think it'd do good for Nike. I think Nike is putting out colorways that people are not interested in right now. They do that with Jordan all the time, right? You know me, I only like OG colorways. I don't like all these new exotic colorways. I don't want anything to do with those. And that's why those are the shoes that's sitting majority of the time, right? And then you have hot collabs or hot shoes like Travis Scott that they make very, very few, but the demand is so high. And so they have to figure out how to meet that threshold and have some balance within their marketing schemes to make sure that these young people, because not us, right? We passed their time, but these young people, they get exactly what they want. And I think Nike ID is a way to that. Obviously, you limit it, right? You can limit it. You can have it out for a certain amount of time. They can use if you have a Nike membership, right? Only certain people get access to it. They can figure out ways to do it. And but Nike's just doing what they want to do. We know exactly the marketing scheme that's in place right now, and it's not really for them to um, to benefit us in that way, right? They really just want to just build this type of high demand and just keep us chasing and holding on to the tail so we don't miss out on anything. But I love that idea of them bringing Nike ID back and having the youngsters make their favorite color shoes, and I think that will absolutely raise the value of Nike. I mean, look in college sports, right? That's why so many teams are being sponsored by Kobe and Nike these days, because these young kids, they love playing in Kobe's. And so imagine if you give everybody an opportunity to make a colorway that's significant to them. I think it'll blow it out the water. But who am I, right? Who am I?
Yeah, hey, we just here. We just here.
We just
The
here.
one thing the one thing I will say to that, I've seen on Nike ID, like I went on Nike ID to see what type of shoes that they have. So they had the Sabrinas that were on there. They had maybe some dunks, which is rare now for them to have dunks because pre-pandemic you couldn't even get that on there.
Mm-mm.
Uh, then I think now maybe some Air Forces as well that you can customize, which is again cool for a nice shoe that you can be able to make your own color. But in regards to those iconic shoes that you can be able to customize, remember back in the day you could be able to customize a Jordan 1. You know what I mean? This is
Mm.
before the Jordan 1 hype. Like again, man, I would always go in there and be like, oh man, these are shoes I want. Never buy them, but I would just try to customize my shoes just to be
Yeah,
able to be that type of person, man. So
for sure.
again, bro, I appreciate this episode, man. I think this episode is something that we'll probably do maybe later down the road again, just to be able to bring the fun back in this, man. Because again, yeah, it's fun to talk about shoes, but it's also fun to talk about moments of
Yeah,
history that we
yeah.
remember, that we can be able to bring those stories. Like for you to tell me all the points that Kobe scored in, bro. Like, I didn't even know he scored that many points in them in Jordans at all, let alone the Jordan 3s or Jordan 8. So that's huge, bro. But as we end, man, as I always say, please make sure you subscribe. Follow us on our social medias, man. It's all Kanes2Kicks. So whether that's on IG, whether that's on Twitter, whether that is on um, YouTube, we are all on our platforms. It's all Kanes. The number two kick. So please make sure that you are being able to show us your support, being able to subscribe, telling a friend, commenting, man. We enjoy the interaction. It actually makes our day, man, because we know that we're putting some good stuff out there. Anything you want to leave us with, Mario?
I think I said it already. Like, comment, subscribe, and tag us. Show us some of those favorite moments. I would love to see. You go back in time, you go back into history, and you pull out that favorite moment of, somebody dunking on somebody and having a good shoe. Yeah, post us, tag us, and let's get it. Let's get it. Let's have some fun with it. So, y'all have an awesome one, and we'll catch y'all next time.